after one term in the House, they sent me on a mission to convert to Senate. I went over there and was fortunate enough in my second term to be minority whip and my third term minority leader. We're working with people like Seth Harp and Mitch Seabaugh and Ronnie Chance. You know, we began to solidify, focus on narrower set of issues, targeting specific races, and eventually flipped, after 4 years, flipped the Senate. And during those 4 years, you'll remember, I had to go toe-to-toe with former Governor Roy Barnes. Now, he's coming back, and we need to be ready for him. Anyway, we flipped the Senate, and as President Pro Tem, with the big guy as the Lieutenant Governor, they shifted the powers to the Pro Tem's office. So for 4 years, I was de facto Lieutenant Governor, and then when Casey Cagle was elected, we voluntarily gave the power back to the presiding officer, which is, I think, appropriate and where it ought to reside. And after 2 years and more years as Pro Tem, so 10 years of leading the Republicans in the state Senate, I was concerned about what was happening in Washington, where we'd lost control, we'd lost vision, and I didn't want that to happen in Georgia. So I resigned my leadership position to run for Lieutenant Governor and get onto the back roads and back into the communities of this state, back to the grassroots like you, where I came from and where I started. I told the Lieutenant Governor, I said, I don't even want a committee. I said, I want to spend time with people of Georgia. I don't want to be locked down in the Capitol. Well, he gave me the Ethics Committee. And I joked with my staff at the time. I said, watch this be the biggest scandal year that we've ever had. And it wasn't long into the session before they rolled out a list of 22 legislators that had failed to file their state and federal income taxes for multiple years. Now that was outrageous, and we couldn't identify them. That's 10% of the legislature, and it was a bipartisan list. So I went to work as the chairman of the Ethics Committee and proposed a rule change. It was called a bloodsucker, called a racist. I mean, it was unbelievable the reaction you got from people who aren't paying their taxes like you are. We ended up passing a bill, and it's on the governor's desk now, where the revenue commissioner will be able to identify by name to the ethics committees those legislators who have not filed their state income taxes. We will be able, at that point, to reprimand them, fine them, imprison them, or kick them out of office. And you can be assured, as chairman of the Ethics Committee, that will be my recommendation. The second thing, if you've heard anything about me, is I'm the voucher guy. I'm the guy that believes parents ought to be able to choose what's the best school for their own child. Secular or religious or homeschool, and I'm going to continue that fight as long as I'm in this business. Let me just close with a brief comment about my old friend Lynn Westmoreland. During that transition I've talked about, when I was the minority leader, he was the minority leader in the House. When we took over the Senate and I began running the Senate, he was still the minority leader over there. We met daily and developed a very close relationship. He and his wife Joan and my wife are close. His daughter Marcy worked on my staff. And you have, I believe, the sharpest, most articulate, conservative congressman in this state. And I know you know that, but I just want to tell you that you're not the only one that knows that. We know Lynn Westmoreland all over this state. So thank you for sending Lynn Westmoreland to the United States Congress and keeping me. Thank you all very much for your few minutes, and I hope I can earn your support. JohnsonForGeorgians.com. Thank you very much.